Hello everyone, welcome to AWS Data Engineering Training Program. And as part of this training, today we will be exploring VPC, that stands for Virtual Private Cloud. Or in simple words, I can say this is nothing but networking component of AWS. You know that there are a lot of services in AWS, and these services will be interacting with each other. Or it may be possible that any external service is interacting with AWS service, or vice versa. Any AWS service is interacting with any external server or any external component, right? So basically, networking will definitely comes into the picture. That's why, as a developer, as a data engineer, we should know a little bit about networking as well, and mainly about the terminology used in this. So that when you are discussing something with a networking guy or with the architect, with your team lead, at least you should understand what they are talking about. That's the purpose of today's class. So let's start the class with the agenda. So the agenda for today's class is overview of VPC service. Then we will talk about CIDR range, subnets, route tables, internet gateway, network ACL, and security group. These are different components of a VPC. I will explore each and every one by one in much more detail, and I will show everything on the our AWS account so that it's more clear to you. Okay, so let's start with VPC. As we discussed little bit in our previous classes as well, that whenever we create our AWS account, whether it's a trial account or it's a like full account, AWS will grant you one range of IP address. That range is known as VPC. And how to check it? Let me log in into our account. I'm already logged in here. Let me refresh. Okay, so I will click on this. I need to enter the code. Just hold on. 178311. Okay, so I have successfully logged in into my account, and we will be searching for VPC. So on the left side, you can see different options here. Your VPC, subnet, route table, internet gateway. We'll explore all these things. Let's start with one, your VPCs. Okay, so you can see that there is only one entry, and you can click on that to know more about it. So you can scroll down and you will see that much more details are displayed. First of all, there is a unique VPC ID. So there will be unique ID for a lot of things. Like when you launch your first server, there will be a unique ID associated that's generated by AWS. So similarly, if you are creating a security group or any AWS service you create, there will be some unique ID. Similarly, for VPC, there is a VPC ID. The current state is available. That means it's in operation, it's ready for use. You can launch any service, and the service will be taking one IP address from this particular IP address range. Okay, the main thing is the IP address range. You can see that this one, CIDR. I don't exactly remember what's the full form of CIDR, but the point is, this is not a single IP address, this is a range. And you may be thinking like, what does it mean? 172.31.0.0/16. Does it mean that it is a range of 16 IP address? No, it's not like that. 16 is very less actually, because if I launch few server and few other services, 16 will be consumed very fast. Slash 16 does not mean that it's a 16 IP addresses. I will tell you what's the meaning of this. So what you do is you copy it, okay, and let's go to Google and you type cider range, cider range, maybe calculator. Yeah, okay. You will find many website. You can go to any is fine. Let's go to the first one. So let's paste that whatever we copied. Okay, slash 16 I will remove, and here in the drop down I will make it slash 16. 16, yes. Okay, now let's look at this. There are so many other details, but you don't have to worry about it. The main thing is this one, IP in range. We were thinking like slash 16, like what does it mean? Slash 16 is basically creating a range of 65,536. It's quite a big range, right? Forget about trial account. Even if you're in a company, you won't be using all the IP addresses. Definitely, you won't be launching 65,000 services, right? So it's quite a big range. You will never go out of the range. You can launch as many services as you want as per your project's need, and you are good. Now, this number, right, slash 16, how does it work? If you click on this drop down and let me go to the bottom, let's start from the very first one. Okay, not first, let's go on the top. It's reverse. If you say slash 32, that means you are typing talking about only one IP. If you make it less, one number less, slash 31, that means two IPs. Getting double actually. Slash 30, 4 IP, then 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, and like that. That means lower the number, bigger is the range. That's why if you scroll down and if you look at slash 16, let's come down. Slash 16. 16 is, you see this, 65,000. If you further decrease the number 15, 14, 13, it will keep on getting double. That's the ultimate purpose of your cider range. Okay. So you don't need to remember like slash 16, what does it mean, or slash 13, what does it mean. You can always go to Google and find out like what exactly is the range behind that particular cider. Okay. So this is all about VPC and its range. Now coming to subnet, subnet is nothing but a smaller range within VPC range. I was giving one example in one of the class, like you can consider VPC as a country, and within the country, then we have further states, right? State is not out of the country, state is part of country only. Same thing is here. Your subnet range is not beyond your VPC, it's within VPC but smaller ranges. And those smaller ranges are like for different regions. Suppose for US region, US 1A, 1B, 1C, I will define different subnets and I can provide some meaningful name so that later on, if you remember, when we were launching our first server, it was giving us the flexibility. If we want, we can choose like which particular subnet I would like to launch my server. But at the same time, if you don't want to provide any preference, it's okay. In that case, AWS will automatically launch your server in any of the subnet, but that will be still within your VPC. It will not go beyond your VPC. So let's see how many subnets are there. Six subnets are available here, and I did not create. These are automatically created when we created our trial account. So there is no name given by default, but it's completely up to you. You can provide some meaningful name. Usually, when we provide the meaningful name, right, what we do is we specify the region so that by looking at the subnet name, you understand that okay, this one, okay, let's me go to little bit towards the right. You will understand it's here availability zone. Okay, so subnet ID, there's a unique subnet ID. The current state is available. That's good. And you notice that all subnets are having a different subnet ID, but for all subnet, VPC ID is same because all these subnets are part of the same VPC. And every subnet has a different range. And you will notice that VPC range was slash 16, that was a smaller number, and this one is slash 20. It's a bigger number. And you know the rule, right? Bigger the number, smaller is the range. Let's check it out like how many IP address for 20. So I will check this out. 20, right? You see that 4096 IPs. That means every subnet is having